So with the start of Diablo 2 Resurrected, I figured it would be a good time to go over some of the best budget builds in all of Diablo 2. A lot of new players coming back, they might not know what skills are necessarily going to be the best, because literally it could come down to certain skills like, we'll say, Poison, Dagger, Necro. It ain't going to get you very far. But if you go with a different skill on that same skill tree, it could make a world of difference. It could go from making the game absolutely impossible to walking through the game, finding high runes all over the place and finding some GG items. So today I figured it'd be a good idea in this video to go over what are some of my favorite and some of the absolute best budget builds in all of Diablo 2. Alright, now let's get after it. So the first build and character I'm going to showcase here in this video is going to be absolutely no surprise to veteran players or even returning players here to Diablo 2 Resurrected, and that's going to be the Blizzard Sorceress. This budget build is so popular. When D2R does launch on day one, you're probably going to see 70-75% of people playing a Sorceress, and they are eventually going to be going into this Blizzard Sorceress build. It is notorious for finding a ton of uniques early on that can help out any of your characters. So even if early on you want to go into an assassin or a druid or really any character, a lot of people will always start off with that Blizzard Sorceress in order to farm places such as Andariel, Ancient Tunnels, Mephisto. You can even run Pindle, and even some in the Chaos Sanctuary. Now the Sorceress is so overpowered, and it's actually not even due necessarily to the Blizzard spell. It's actually because the Sorceress has teleport, and that way you can farm locations significantly faster than a character that does not have teleport. Then of course the Sorceress also has static, which can chop down the boss's health, such as Andariel or Mephisto, and that way you can kill that monster even faster. And of course, using the Blizzard for the Mephisto moat trick is one of the fastest way to get those awesome uniques. I always go strictly Blizzard personally. A lot of people like to go dual spec, but in my opinion, if you go strictly Blizzard and then all of Blizzard synergies, that way you can farm these very important areas even faster. And then I just skip and don't farm any areas that has a lot of immune to cold. It might go without saying, but this build, like all budget builds, are essentially gear independent, meaning it almost doesn't matter what gear you have. If you put your skill points into the correct skills, you're going to end up being able to kill stuff good in hell, and that way you can start farming and get better gear, make your character even better. But if you can find any stuff that has plus to skills or faster cast rate, that is going to help your character out. So these are in no particular order, but the next budget build and character that I'm going on to is going to be the Lightning Fury Javelin Amazon. With a fully maxed out and geared character, this is actually one of the singular most powerful builds in the game. But even with absolutely no gear, you can still absolutely wreck stuff here in Diablo 2. Like I said for the Sorceress, with this Amazon, it is essentially gear independent. I actually walk over to Geeds here, buy some random javelins, and as you can see, I have no problem taking down monsters here in hell. All you need is to put your skill points into the right skills, and the javelin is just the thing that you throw out there to get these lightning fury bolts flying everywhere. For this mega budget build, there is one piece of gear that isn't absolutely necessary, but it helps out a budget build immensely, and it's not particularly hard to get your hands on, and that is the Razortail belt. It adds 33% to pierce, so you can save a ton of points, so you don't have to go down into the passive magic skill tree and put a ton of points into pierce. You can only put 1 point into pierce, and with the belt, you're going to turn out okay. Now, Lightning Fury is the attack you use to take down large packs, and it's absolutely amazing. But you also have an excellent skill, Charged Strike, for taking down individual monsters, either monsters left over from killing a pack but that didn't fully get taken out by the Lightning Fury, or also this is known as one of the best boss killers in the entire game. This is a very mana intensive build, so you're going to want to carry a lot of pots, and also if you find any gear with, we'll say, faster walk run, faster attack speed, mana leech, or mana after kill. That's all going to be stuff that's super beneficial, and also obviously if you can get your hands on an insight for your mercenary to help out your mana situation, that is also advised. The next budget build and character here is actually one of my most recent favorite characters to play, and that is the Poison Corpse Explosion Necromancer. There's really several different versions of this Corpse Explosion build that you can use early on. Sometimes people will do it with summons, or like I said, do it with poison. I prefer the poison just because I feel like it's a little bit faster, but some people like the safety of the summons. Either way, this character absolutely wrecks and is pretty fun to play, and just like all the other ones obviously in budget builds, it is very gear independent. I've actually done a build guide in the past for the mega budget necro build already, and I did hell farming, and my character was only level 43, so that kind of tells you how awesome this character can wreck even at lower levels. This character isn't really known as a boss killer, it's more of a character to slaughter large packs, such as in the cow level, or out at Eldrich and Shenk is another good option, or another great option is down in the pits, because down in the pits in Act 1 you can find every single item in the game. The Necromancer is also known as a great character to use when you're playing in a party, because it has a lot of support for other characters. You may not necessarily be taking down the first monster, but once you start popping those bodies with that corpse explosion and you melt an entire pack, your party will help you out. Also, if you're doing the summoner, that will give a ton of safety to your entire party. Because this is a caster, it's going to have some of the same advice as for the sorceress, stuff that's going to help you out, or anything that gives you plus the skills that you can find along the way, maybe make a spirit sword or a spirit shield, and anything with faster cast rate, and also probably stuff that gives you mana after kill as well. Now the next character and build on this list for budget is going to be the Paladin using blessed hammers. Like the JAVAZON, the Hammerdin is one of the most powerful characters in the game once you get it fully decked out, but even when it's not fully decked out, it is actually still super powerful. Because it is not elemental damage, and it's not really physical damage, you can farm essentially every single place in the game, as long as your character can really take the beating or the elemental damage. But because it's a Paladin, Paladin shields can have up to 45 res just inherently on them, so you can boost out your resistances pretty easy that way. Since, like I said, this can farm almost anywhere, places that people love to farm with the Hammerdin are going to be the Chaos Sanctuary and doing Bale runs, two of the best places in the game to get experience and to find high runes and good items. When this character is not completely decked out in endgame gear, it does require a slightly different playstyle though, because you don't have to teleport and you can't perfectly telestomp on the mobs of monsters. You kind of need to cast some hammers and back up, because also you don't have the life or the damage reduction. It's a little bit more difficult to stay alive, but this character busts out so much damage, it is definitely one of the most powerful budget builds in the entire game. And I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but this is a caster, so things that will help this out that you're going to want to look for are anything that gives you plus skills, or gives you faster cast rate, and obviously anything that helps survivability, a bunch of life, damage reduction, things like that. So if you made it all the way down here, make sure you hit that like button for me. You must have liked the video, and don't forget to subscribe up, because actually, unlike most people who stream over on Twitch, I actually stream right here on this YouTube channel. Like I said, all you gotta do is subscribe up, and it would help out if you get the bell notification turned on so you get notified when I go live. Huge shout out to all the channel members. With your support, you make me making these videos and streaming possible. Peace out, YouTube. Hopefully I catch you in the next video. And don't forget, keep slaying.